All right, welcome to our fourth and final class of the day. Next week we're closed, so don't come Saturday or Sunday because we're not here. Because we have an alarm too. So, this is my fifth and final round against Matthew Stature, which I played his brother in the first round. So this is completing the cycle of playing the Statter brothers. I get black in the last round, even though I'm the director. Still can't get white in the last round. Okay, and he had 4 out of 4, so also good. And I think he beat 2 higher rated players, so I gotta watch my step. Okay, I play the Sicilian, playing to win and or lose. And he played the Open Sicilian. And I noticed, this is what I usually play with black. I noticed he beat Alexander Rutten in previous round, and Rutten always plays the Najdorf, which would mean that my knight's back on b8, and his pawn would be on a6, or my pawn would be on a6. And Statter played bishop e2 and played sort of boring and was worse, and then he won an endgame, even though he was worse. And against me, he also played bishop e2. Okay, so in this position, there's 2 common ways for white to play, both of them normally involving long castling, although in one of the common moves, Fischer would actually castle kingside. So that, of course, would be bishop c4. And if you watched my video last week where I'm playing Zhao Cheng, he played bishop e3, queen e2, long castle, which is the Velimirovich attack, obviously, telling you stuff you already know. Mm-hmm. And you can, some of you have already watched that video. I won that blitz game, but a very suspicious game. When Fischer played bishop c4, he would castle kingside and put his bishop on b3 and then push his f-pawn. The other way to castle queenside is to play bishop g5, queen d2, then castle queenside. And then everybody's always playing for mate. And normally, people who play the Open Sicilian are trying to play really aggressively and castle queenside and play for mate, like in the Yugoslav attack in the Dragon, for example. Okay, so my opponent played bishop e2, which is not very aggressive, it's more positional. And in fact, a move that I've never played, which I probably should, is g6, and then you transpose to a dragon where whites play bishop e2, which isn't normally what dragon players are playing with white. Most people with white are playing a bishop e3, f3, queen d2, castling, and trying to mate you, the Yugoslav attack. So if I play g6, I'm playing a dragon Sicilian, but they play bishop e2 to castle kingside, and that's not considered very scary. So a lot of players do play g6 here. Okay, but I always play e5. And this is named after your favorite Russian grandmaster. I'm just wondering if any of you have heard of him. And his name is Boleslavsky. Yeah? You heard of him? Sure. Nice. Boleslavsky was one of the top 10 players in the world between, I would say, 1940 and 1960, somewhere in there. Isaac Boleslavsky is a very good player, and he never played for the World Championship because, man, in Soviet Russia, it's tough to be one of the top 5 players. And he was the one who popularized e5. And for my weaker students, and this is the highest level class, but for my weaker students, I try to get them to not play e5 in the Sicilian, because when you play c5 and then you play e5, you're weakening your white squares quite a bit. So normally in the Sicilian, when I play black, I play e6, and I'm all hooked up here. And in fact, whether my opponent plays bishop c4 or bishop g5, my pawn's always going to e6 very soon. When I say very soon, I mean immediately. Okay. Now after bishop e2, I'm playing a more aggressive way because my opponent's playing passively. So I'm trying to get an advantage, and even though I'm weakening these squares, I'm more afraid of like bishop on c4 than I am of a bishop on e2. Now there's 2 ways for white to play here, and he played one of them. Knight f3 is a move, and knight b3 is the other move, and really the knight's not really so good on either square. And grandmasters play both. My opponent played knight b3, I played bishop e7, and he castled. And again, I like to play really aggressively with black and a Sicilian, and when I'm white, I tend to play more boring and try to be a little bit better with no risk. And with black, if you want to win, you got to take some risk. Now, again, I want to give the difference to you at home and you here about the different kind of styles that people use when they play in tournaments. For example, if you're playing in a GM round robin tournament, which you're not doing, but you've watched them, you may have noticed that somebody gets 2 wins and 7 draws or 3 wins and 6 draws and they win the tournament. And you're like, oh, Carlson didn't lose any games. And the other guys all got 50% and he got +3, so he won very easily. And a good example of this would be the tournament that just finished today in Isle of Man, where it was an open tournament with 160 players, but the top 20 players were all like in the top 40 in the world. It's a strong tournament. And Carlson had 5 wins and 4 draws. And I'm sorry, Carlson had 6 wins and 3 draws, which is a lot. It's an open tournament. And Nakamura and Anand had 5 wins and 4 draws, and they were the only people with 7. And Carlson was the only 7.5, and that's first and second and third and so forth. However, you guys aren't playing in GM tournaments. You guys are playing Rufus and Doofus. In fact, you're not even playing at all, or you. But when you play in tournaments, and they're local tournaments, and they're open, you got to win all your games. If you have 5 wins and 4 draws, you're not winning anything. Okay. And the reason is, there's a lot of people who are playing in open tournaments who don't really put up a big fight. They're low rated and you beat them. So if other IMs and GMs and Masters are playing, and they're playing players right under 2,000, they're going to win. And so having half wins and half draws, that's not how you win tournaments. Now, if everybody's a GM, that's how you win tournaments. Therefore, when I play an opening in an open tournament and I have black, I'll take a lot of risk, because I can't draw, and I'm black. So if it's a boring game, my weaker opponent might draw. But if I make the game really interesting, and they play really well, then that's not possible. Why is their rating so low if they're playing well? Therefore, I might play a little crazier against a low-rated opponent than a high-rated opponent, especially in an open tournament. Okay. Now, so in this position, I played a move that's actually pretty popular, but it's a little scary. I played A5. And now I'm giving up all of my white squares, okay? Because my pawns are all in dark squares. So if my opponent wants to play here and here and here, I can't do nothing about it. But I'm trying to attack and play aggressively and play asymmetrical. So I want to play A4 and kick that knight. And I've done that before. But my opponent played A4, so now I didn't. So as Bobby Fischer said, which I'm sure Ocean's aware of, you have to give squares to get squares. I gave this square away. That's his square. But my knight could go to B4 now. And if I didn't make him play A4, he could kick my knight away. So if he goes here and I go here, then we'll see who it's better for. Okay, and I played bishop E6, although for some reason castles is more common. Okay, and my opponent thought a long time here. And this is where this would be good to have chess lessons. In this position, it's clear, even without chess lessons, that these squares are weak. The knight can go there, and I can't kick him out. I can't play like pawn back to E6 and attack his. I can't take this and. Okay, now which black piece is defending the D5 square?
Right.
The knight on F6. So it's very common for white in this kind of position to play bishop G5 and take the knight. And then when I take back, he has a lot of good fun here. Okay. So after bishop E6, I think bishop G5 would be a very reasonable move. Okay, and I expected that. He thought a long time here, and he played the move F4. Now, of course, if he plays F5, then F4 makes a lot of sense. If I take his knight, and he takes my bishop, then when you're low rated like you guys are, you're like double pawns, and you start doing cartwheels. Okay, I'm high rated, and since I'm overweight, I don't do cartwheels. So I don't like bishop takes knight. Okay. If I weight a lot less, I can do cartwheels, my rating would go down. So the problem with taking this knight is that I give away this bishop. As a grandmaster, I'm against it. But more importantly, my pawns are on dark squares. I need this guy. That guy's controlling the white squares. I don't want to save that guy, I want to save this guy. However, my opponent's going to play F5. I didn't let him play F5.
You played G5?
I played what?
G5?
I played G5?
No, G6.
G6? That doesn't stop F5. That makes f5 even better.
You took the pawn.
Yeah, I took the pawn. Yeah. And he took back, and I castled. Now, some of you are claiming this is a weak pawn, because you're correct. That was a weak pawn even before I did that. However, now this pawn is isolated, and I have a square that heretofore I did not have before he played f4.
E5.
E5. That's a very juicy square for my knight. I like that square. Okay. So computer says equal. It says I have a weak pawn, you have a weak pawn, you have b5, I might have b4, I have a knight on e5, your rook is nice and open. There's lots going on here. Now, you might say, I have a question. Don't make noise. You're 2570 and your opponent's 1770. Why haven't you won already? Good question. Okay. The reason I'm higher rated than my opponent is that if we play, I'll always win. So if we play 100 times, I'll get 100. But it doesn't mean that I'll win in 8 moves or 4 moves or 90 moves. It just means that I'll win. And I don't care how I win. I want to win with little risk. But when I'm black, you got to take some risk. I have a position that's asymmetrical and complicated and confusing. So I did good. Now, if he plays better than me, that's not fair. I'm higher rated than him. He should make bad moves. If it's boring and blocked and nothing is going on, he might make good moves. That makes noise. Don't do that. Just put it down. Yeah. Okay. So I was happy here because this position's weird. Like, I don't know what's going on. Okay. So he doesn't either. Okay. He played bishop f3, which is not, the computer doesn't like that. He's giving c4 away. Okay. His bishop was controlling c4. Now it's not. And his bishop is being blocked by this pawn. Why did he do it? I had a reason why I thought he did it. Okay. Generally, white wants to play knight d5 at some point. Makes sense. However, this pawn's not defended sufficiently for that. Well, now it is. So they wanted to play knight d5. I played knight e5, obviously. And now, he did something that's very important in Sicilians, which Karpov did all the time. Okay. He took one of his pieces on the wrong square and put it on a much safer square. Which white piece, and I'll click on all of them so you're less confused.
The king?
I don't care about the pawns. Yeah, the king. The king doesn't belong on this open diagonal.
Yeah.
That's not where your king belongs. Yeah, he played king h1. Okay, so I'm getting mad because he's playing pretty good. Now, the difference between me and you in chess is I'm very patient. And you guys, you're like, wait, I can sack a queen. And I'm like, good, I'm up a queen. And so I don't like this. Bishop f3, king h1, that's too patient. I don't like that. Okay, I'm like, make some blunders so I can win. Okay, well, I'm playing faster than him, so he'll get in time trouble and I'll win, but I'm still mad. Okay, so I like where all these pieces are. Now it's time to move these pieces to good squares. If I had some good squares, I would move them there, right? He's not hanging anything. This is terrible. Okay, so what move did I make to improve my position?
Rook c8.
Rook c8, okay. And I control c4 a lot. And now he made sense of his king h1 move. He played knight to d4. So if his king was on g1, I could play queen b6, pinning his knight, and attacking this pawn. I still play queen b6 because I'm attacking his b pawn. I wasn't sure what he would do about it. Rook a2 hangs your rook. b3 hangs your knight. And queen c1, queen b1, and rook b1 looks sort of silly to me. And so he played, I think, the best move, knight b5. I gave him the b5 square, so he took it. And he's blocking my queen. I can't do anything. And here I actually had to think, and I'm like, well, what do I do? Like, I can't do anything. Why didn't he blunder yet? He's 1700. Well, he was 4-0. So he won all his games. Probably not because he's weak. Probably because he's playing well. And now I had an idea. Whenever my opponent does something, that means whatever they did makes their position not what it was. For example, you're here, so you're not somewhere else. So if I wanted to rob his house, either one I'm there or I don't. If I don't, this would be a good time. Right? Okay. So his knight was on c3, and now it's not. Now, I don't like the fact that his knight is all up in my grill and blocking me, and I can't kick it out, but at least it's not on c3. c3 was a good square. When it was on c3, I was espousing knight d5. I said he might want to play knight d5. Obviously, he can't play knight d5 anymore. Therefore, he's made d5 possible. Except d5 is impossible because he's got all this stuff here and my knight would be hanging. So therefore, I played
Pawn b5. You play knight takes bishop.
If I play pawn d5, he takes my knight.
Oh, right.
Right. So I played
Pawn takes bishop.
pawn takes bishop.
Knight takes bishop.
Knight g6 is also a good move. Yeah. In fact, the engine doesn't play knight takes bishop. Then when I played it, it says it's best. So I'm better than the engine, so I didn't cheat. Okay. So I get rid of the bishop that's defending d5, and now my knight's not hanging, so I can play d5. In the Sicilian, you're always trying to play d5, but you can't. But he played here, so now I can. But I couldn't, but then I took the bishop, so now I can. And now, I didn't even consider the best move, according to the engine. It actually makes a lot of sense now, because of what I just said. And so, it was weird when the engine said, and I was like, oh yeah. So, which is the best recapture, and there's 4 of them, on F3? You see all 4? It's a top class.
Queen?
Queen, pawn, knight, and rook.
Yeah, see, he said all 4. He just suggested one with a question mark.
You can't take with the horse because then, actually, yeah, because then you can move your bishop.
If you take with the knight, I can actually take this pawn now.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you take with the rook, I guess I could take with the knight, right? Right, so g takes is the best move, which I didn't even consider. Now g takes has one reasonable idea that you can start attacking me here, which I'm not too scared of, I can go here. But more importantly, if I do play d5, which is why I played knight takes, and if he does play e5, which makes sense, I can't play knight e4 now. Okay, that's why g takes is the best, he's controlling the e4 square. And so I didn't even look at g takes because it looked weird, but g takes is the best. And he took with the queen, which is what I expected, and I played d5. Now, I've taken a bishop, so I have 2 bishops. So as a grandmaster, I'm happy. I don't care what's coming on a queen, I have 2 bishops. Okay. So if somehow those pawns get traded, I got 2 bishops. I don't see any compensation. Now, I'm not saying I'm even better or winning, but I'm very happy. I mean, my d pawn's gone. I have 2 bishops, and my white square bishop is great. Right? That's a good bishop. Right? Great bishop. Rook's on open line. 2 bishops. Okay, black has to be better. So he played the obvious move.
Push.
E5. Right? And I played knight e4. Now it makes sense that he takes with the pawn. I can't play knight e4. And I was like, well, knight's on e4. That's got to be good. And I was worried about one thing. He can't do it, but I was worried about it. Okay? My knight on e4 is a little bit tenuous, right, Ocean? Because my pawn's defending it, and he could play some move like c4, and I got to be careful. But I wasn't worried about c4 because my rook is there. But if my rook wasn't there, I might be a little worried, because then my knight... Okay. So I was like, you can't play c4, my knight's on e4. Great. Okay. So I was pretty happy, and the engine agrees, says black's like a tiny bit better. And also, it's a very complicated, non-drawish type position. I don't want to draw, because then I'm tied for first. Draw 1700. Okay. So he played bishop e3, which the engine doesn't like very much. And now, I made, probably according to the engine, the worst move I made in the game. Okay? And there's basically 2 moves to consider. Only 2. So you have black, what are the 2 moves you consider? Also, I didn't consider the move that it gave. So.
Queen d8 and queen a6.
Right, queen a6, I like queen a6 in general, but not here. I actually like the move queen a6, but not in this position. That's like one of my moves. That's one of my crazy moves I like to play.
Oh, and
Queen on a6, not too good. Look at that queen on a6, just sitting over there being bad.
queen d8 and bishop c5.
That's correct. Yeah. And I played one of them, the computer said that's still good, play the other one. Okay? So I like retreating, you know me. I always say retreats. I play queen d8. And the computer says black's better after this. That goes forward though. I mean, bishop c5 makes sense. I just, my rook's on this nice open line. Yeah. Also, if my queen's here the next 10, 20, 30 moves, why is it there? Okay, so queen d8, I figured, okay, I can defend this pawn, and my queen has a lot of options later in the game. On b6, I'm not even sure what my queen's doing on b6. It's blocked by this knight. Ugh. Okay, so after bishop c5, the computer prefers black. And basically, in my opinion, black only has one plan here. Let's say white doesn't move. Like king g1, king h1, and just keeps doing that. I mean, I don't want to draw. I got to do something. So I think in the long run, I have to play f6 and open this up. Okay, because I had the two bishops. And then his nice pawn here is gone, and I can get like my rooks on the F file. So F6 is a plan, or F5, and go forward. And then my queen is actually doing something that's protecting my bishop. Okay. So I didn't do that, I played queen d8. And now his next move is fine. I'm not complaining about it. And now I'm going to complain about it. Okay? It's fine in a general sense. It's bad in the fact that he's low rated and this appeals to him. What he should do is nothing. And then I can't do anything and the computer says it's equal. Low rated players can't do nothing. They have to do something. Now when I say do nothing, you should still improve your position. So here, white has only not moved one piece.
The rook on A1.
Yeah, so like rook d1 makes sense. That is rook's opposite my queen. Okay, rook's in the center. So rook d1 is probably the best move. But low-rated players got to do stuff. Rawr! So he played knight takes e6. There's nothing wrong with knight takes e6, but it changes the position. My bishop on e6 wasn't going anywhere, and his knight on d4 is great. So that's a very strange trade. The reason he did it was for forceful means. I'm going to do this, 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 and I'm winning. And I wouldn't allow that because I'm good. So if you have like moves that win by force, I don't allow them. Okay? If you beat me because you're better than me, that's fine. But if you're like, I took this, and Ben didn't see that, I don't lose like that. Okay? You can't beat me because I hang pieces. But you can beat me because you play better than me. So if you play rook d1, maybe you're playing better than me, I don't know. But if you just like start taking things, and then I take back, I didn't miss that. I can see captures. Okay, but subtle moves, I might miss them. Like rook d1, not too subtle. So he took, and in this position he made a very bad move, and then he made a worse move, and he kept doing it. And there was a domino effect, which isn't good because we're playing chess. Okay.
I mean, these moves are fun.
So in this position, I'm threatening his queen and his c-pawn. It's true.
So queen e2?
Queen e2, and the computer says equal. Well, I'd rather have black. But he didn't play knight takes e6 because he wanted to go passive. He thought he was crushing me. Okay, so knight takes e6 just isn't good because his knight on d4 is too good. Okay, so he played queen g4, threatening my pawn on e6 with check. So I thought about taking on c2, he takes with check, and I play king h8, and I was like, I don't know, I'm old, leave me alone. Okay, so obviously I wanted to go up my e6 pawn and make his queen active. So the move to analyze is queen d7, defending my pawn. Then I'm threatening rook takes c2. After queen d7, which I played, he has a move that stops rook c2 and attacks my e-pawn.
Knight d4?
Knight d4. That's why he did this. That's why he played knight takes e6. Looks good too. Looks good for white. And when I did this, I saw if he did this, knight takes, queen g4, knight d4, that I would have this very strong move. And after I played this move, which he didn't see, he immediately blundered. And this is a problem people have psychologically in chess, is their opponent makes a move they didn't see, and then they just panic and lose everything.
Did you take the rook? Rook takes f1.
Okay, and then what would he do?
Rook takes back and then you
You wouldn't have a chance to blunder, though, right?
Yeah, so then what would I do then?
Never mind.
Never mind, but rook takes f1's okay, but you have to play the right idea. The idea is, how do you save this pawn? Rawr!
You play...
Knight g5? No. Just
Play knight c5.
Why are you breaking pens? Like, don't do that. We bought those pens. Don't just rip them apart. Well, you did. I just saw you do it. Okay, and then you threw it out. Okay, also try to answer the questions. Yeah. So this is the kind of move that's hard for you guys, even though I give you lots of hints. What move?
I was going to say rook e1, but...
Rook e1's illegal. This rook can't go to e1.
No,
and this rook can't-
e8's, whatever.
Yeah, I know what you meant. Yeah. That doesn't defend the pawn. No.
The bishop's blocking it.
Yeah. Then he would play knight takes, threatening queen g7 mate. Or queen takes and win a pawn.
Ha.
Yeah. So I can't directly defend the pawn, but I can indirectly do it. And the reason is, when I play chess, I don't know about you guys, well I do know, but I'm being nice. I always, every move, every position, without thinking, see what's defended and what's not. If you watch my videos, and you do, because you wouldn't be watching this if you didn't, I say the same thing every video, and then nobody does it right anyways, it doesn't matter. And I have a funny story. One of my wives, I don't know which one, she had a sister who taught at, I think, Brooklyn College. Might have been some college in Brooklyn. I think it was Brooklyn College. And obviously, they're in New York, so they're already, not too bright. And there's Brooklyn College, so, whew. Okay, anyway, so since people don't do well on tests in college, she would give the answers the day before. She would say, this is the question, this is the answer. And then they take the test the next day and they all get them all wrong. She gave them the questions and the answers. They would have to actually look at it and study, but they're like, well, they give us the answers. Now, if they could bring the paper to the test, then maybe they would do okay, maybe, but, okay. So I give people the questions and the answers when I teach, and then they all do it wrong every game. So I can keep telling you, okay? This is something I tell you every time I teach. I always look at all the pieces, correct. I look at all the pieces, and I see which ones are attacked and defended and not defended and so forth. White has a bishop that's not defended and a queen that's not defended, okay? The other pieces are defended, okay? So I take advantage by playing
C5.
bishop c5. Yeah, your bishop's not defended.
Oh, and it protects G7.
Yeah, and now you'll never mate me ever.
That's cool.
Yeah, and if it's my move, if I take your knight, you take my bishop, that knight's there forever, and your c-pawn's not defended. And your bishop on d4, I'm not scared of it. It's blocked by the e5 pawn. I'm not scared at all. Okay. And I'm not scared by taking on e6 because I calculated it. Now, what he has to do here is go, oh, I didn't see bishop c5, and he's got to like chill and relax and try to find the defensive move. The defensive move is easy to find. I'm threatening to take and take on c2.
C3.
So you could play c3, you could play queen e2 defending this, you could trade rooks, which I wouldn't do. So if I take with a rook, I'm not threatening c2 anymore. There's like a lot of options.
Why wouldn't you take the rook?
Why would you be giving up that file? You're just giving it away. Right. Okay. So I wouldn't do that. I'm not saying that that's bad, I just wouldn't do it. Okay. If I take with the bishop, I'm not, okay. So he has a lot of options for defense. And since he didn't see bishop c5, he should chill, but he couldn't do it. Okay. He had to, I'm low rated, rawr. Okay. And if you go crazy against me and play all tactical moves, I saw those. The way to beat me is to just play better than me because I'm no good. But if you just play all tactics, then I'm fine. Okay? If I wasn't, I wouldn't be high rated. I'm high rated because I see tactics. If I don't see tactics, my rating's low. Okay? If you're good at positional chess and you're bad at tactics, the positional chess doesn't matter. You can be good or bad, it's irrelevant. If you're good at tactics, your positional chess doesn't matter. Now, of course, I am good at positional chess, but I'm not as good as like Carlsen, so he's higher rated than me. But Carlsen's not going to take all my pieces. Carlsen's going to make good moves and I won't, and he'll win. Okay? And then nobody takes all my pieces because my rating would go down. That'd be terrible. Okay. So in this position, he decided to go rawr. Okay, and that just loses. It's terrible. And even when I was over 2,600, my coach, Gregory Kaidenov from Kentucky, he told me that was my weakness. I was always doing that. I was better then than I was now. Okay, so he played queen takes e6 because he can't help it. Okay, and then he has to take my rook because if he takes the queen, I'll just trade rooks and I'm up a piece. I have an extra bishop.
Alright.
So he played rook takes rook, and then knight takes, and this is his plan. And he did this on purpose. So he has a rook and a pawn for 2 pieces, except king's not too good. My king's great, and even though I said he has a rook and a pawn for 2 pieces, I'm going to take that pawn.
Yeah.
There's no way you're ever going to save that pawn. Also, that's the greatest knight ever. So his only hope is to take this pawn, then he's fine. But you can never play rook d1 because I go check and take your rook.
Huh.
And if I can't check and take your rook, I can play d4 and it's defended. Okay.
Yeah.
So as long as I keep this pawn, these pawns are all, I'm safe. And then I'm just going to go take your pawn and you lost. So he did this intentionally, it wasn't an accident. He played queen takes e6 and he saw this. And he thought, I have a rook and a pawn for 2 pieces, let's try it. But his rook's no good, his king's no good, his e5 pawn is no good. I can't put my pieces on better squares. I can try, but I can't. Okay. So I turn the engine on, in case I'm crazy, and it says like black's doing great, right? It should say equal because you were taught when you were small, like when you were small, now you're huge, you were taught rook and pawn and 2 pieces about the same. Well, why am I up 1.5 then? Exactly. Okay, so he played rook a3 because it attacks something, it's shiny. All right, I move my bishop. I thought about playing bishop here, attacking these 2 pawns, but I didn't really care about his pawns. I just wanted to be safe. Okay, if I play bishop d4, he'll play rook b3, defending and attacking. If I play here, and he plays rook b3, I'll play b6, and I'm done defending, like that's it. He can't do anything. I'm safe. Okay, he checked me, but I saw it.
Of course he did.
Yeah. And now I don't know what to tell you. Like, if I'm white, I got nothing. I don't know what to say. Now, as my brother and I have discussed many times, the lower rated you are, the weaker you are, the more you have trouble coordinating your pieces. So often, at the low levels, when the players are, let's say, under 1400, and one side has a rook and one side has 2 pieces, and the engine says 2 pieces, 2 pieces, 2 pieces, lower rated players are like, I can't coordinate them, and the rook will start taking everything. And you guys learn the wrong lesson. Well, I ain't under 1400, so you're going to see how 2 pieces work. Okay, so he played h3 because his king is terrible. I play king e6, obviously. Okay, now, again, I only think about restricting my opponent's pieces. I don't think about nothing else. And my opponent wants to get his rook all up in my grill. And as you can see, that's not going to happen. Right? It's all illegal and terrible. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, if I play king takes e5, this is neither illegal or terrible. That's great. So I'm not doing that. I'm not in a hurry. Okay. This is the move any grandmaster would play here. I'm any grandmaster, so I played it. None of you would ever think of it or play it, even after I tell you. You still wouldn't do it. I can show you this next week. We're closed next week, so you definitely won't do it. Now, you see all these things? Notice how they're not defended. If they are defended, they can never be captured ever.
Huh.
Okay, so what move did I play? I defended 2 at the same time. Wow.
b6.
b6, right? That's the move you would have played, right? Yeah. And now if I turn the engine on, what's the first move? b6, okay? Yeah. Get rid of knight at b6. Okay, knight d2 is a low-rated player move. Rawr, rawr, attacking everything. Okay, b6 is a grandmaster move, like you'll never do anything. Okay, and so that's why I win these positions. I don't let my opponent do anything. He's never going to play rook f7. If he does, I'm going to take it. It's never going to happen. He's never going to play rook f8. If he does, I'm going to take it. His rook's never going to do anything, ever. It's going to sit on f3 and go, why can't I go to b7 and a6? No. Okay, so he played king g2. Okay, I want to take his e-pawn. But I can't play king e5. So I can take with the bishop or the knight. If I take with the bishop, which I could do, then my b6 pawn isn't protected. Right? That would be like a terrible thing for me, a tragedy. So I decide I'll take with the knight. That was my decision. Every move wins, but I like to do it the simplest way. How did I take it with the knight? I'm a GM, so I just went here. So what did I do?
Knight g5.
Knight g5, knight f7, knight takes e5.
Yeah.
Easy. Okay. He defended it. Okay, that's care about that. Yeah. Okay. Now, if I play g6, he can check me. So I just took it. He still can't go to f7 or f8 or f6. Okay. He played king f1. He's trying to get his king to the middle. I played knight c6. I said, if you want to get your king to the middle, go right ahead.
No.
Okay, and then my knight can go here. Yeah. Okay, so he played king e1. And now I had a long think. And I said, well, if I play knight here, forking these two, he has to play rook f2.
Which is...
Okay. And then if I play knight takes b3 like Ocean would, to take this rook, he plays check. And then I'm like, oh no. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, but I don't like to do anything. Okay, so I just kicked his rook out. I said, get out. Get out of here. And then he said, I want the director because my opponent's talking. And I said, I'm the director. And he was like, darn. So he moved his rook, and then I put my knight in the middle. Yay, he has a lot of good choices here.
No.
No, he can't play rook c3 because bishop is, yeah. Okay, so where can you go? Truth hurts.
F1.
Could go to f1. Yeah. Play the f4. More active, although not really. Okay, it's on a dark square, so bishop d6 with lots of threats, like knight d3 check, for example. And he made a blunder, although he's losing anyway. Now, we talked about this in previous classes and previous private lessons with all my students and chess camps and everywhere, and again, nobody remembers. When you're winning and the computer says +2, +3, and every GM always wins and you guys somehow get back to equality, okay? Then, at some point in the game, sometimes you get an opportunity for a +10, like your opponent just makes a blunder. And you're just like, la 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 la, and then it's still +3. And then I'm your coach, and I'm like, oh, you could have done that and won a queen. But you're still winning, and then 5 moves later you hang a knight and it's equal. Okay? And I'm like, man, if you had played that, you would have won. You were winning with what you did, but you weren't as winning. Your opponent gives you opportunities. That's how they roll, especially when they're losing. In this position, I'm threatening this check, and if the rook can't go here, 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 or here, or here, or here, or here, because it's hanging, and if you go here, I have this knight check. So it seems like he has to go here or here. Okay, and as Ocean pointed out, the safest square is
F1.
F1. And you don't need to be good at chess to know that. You need to know I have a dark squared bishop, so white square is safer. That's all you need to know. Also, not only is rook F2 a dark square, and your king's on a dark square, I have a dark square bishop, it also walks into that fork, which I can't do, but set me up. He's hooking me up here. So he has to play rook F1. Okay, but he played rook F2.
Oh.
Now, when I say he has to play rook F1, I have a winning position, but I'm more winning if I punish rook F2. If I don't, it's the same winning. And most people would just be like, I'm winning, I have 2 pieces for a rook, and some of you would win, and some of you would hang a knight later and lose. Okay, but after this, now I can win immediately instead of like winning in 30 moves.
Knight d3 check.
Knight takes g4.
They both have the same idea, except one wins a pawn. Yeah, knight g3, he takes it.
Roswell.
Then I lose 2 pieces for a rook. Which, I don't know if I'm winning there. I'm better, because my king's better than his. Okay, so knight takes g4. Now, there's 2 moves I have to analyze here. Pawn takes knight, and what's the other move I have to analyze?
Rook check.
Rook e2 check. After rook e2 check, what do I play?
You play knight e5.
Knight e5, so I just steal a pawn. Right. So when I'm playing a computer, it moves its rook, and then I'm more winning. But a computer wouldn't play rook f2, because knight takes g4 steals a pawn. Okay. So again, if you don't see rook e2 check, that's not good. You sort of luckily have this. Of course I saw rook e2 check. There's 2 moves that I see. Captures and
Check.
checks. If you capture my piece or check me, I saw it. I guarantee it. Now, if you make a good move that doesn't do that, I didn't see it. I'm old, leave me alone. Okay, so he took. I played
Bishop.
Bishop
bishop
G3.
g3. Yeah, and every move wins here, but I played h5. Okay. Now, in this position, black is up a pawn. If I let the computer sit for 2 minutes, what's the evaluation? Guess.
Checkmate.
+55.
Yeah, those are good guesses. I thought it would be checkmate, but it doesn't do it. Mine doesn't. Well, I was really surprised. Because it's probably like an 8 and 20,
42,
but it
plus
didn't do it.
42.
Yeah, no, it's like +60. Yeah. Right, and I'm up a pawn. But yeah, I mean, my king goes over here, and you either stop me and I queen, or you don't stop me. I queen either way. I can queen my d pawn or my h pawn, it's up to you. Okay, and so he resigned here. So, that was by far my toughest game, because I think for the first, let's see, I don't know, like first 20 moves, it's like equal position.
What were the time controls in this?
This is game 30,
Okay.
yeah. And basically I use 10 minutes a game and I'm not at the board ever because I'm directing. So I just pay attention. And I'm like, oh, it's the last draw, I'll pay attention a little, but not too much. I was hardly ever at the board. But the point is, I spent a lot of my time thinking about what my opponent wants to do, and here he couldn't help himself, he had to do something. Before, he like blocked my queen, he played king h1, he developed his pieces, then he's like, I've had enough of that. Now we're just gonna take, and I resign. As opposed to like, rook d1, like what's your rook in the center? Okay, and then the computer says he's fine, right? Equal, right? So equal, and when I say equal, I have a different definition than the computer definition. When I say it's equal, that means everything's equal. It doesn't mean he has one move that equalizes. That means I'm better, okay, in human terms. Here, everything's equal, okay? And when he plays knight takes e6, which is one of the equal moves, he has to play queen e2. But he's not doing that. I played knight takes e6 to beat you. I'm gonna do this. And if that beats me, then I shouldn't play chess anymore. When my opponent can beat me by force, I stop that. But if he plays c3 and rook a d1, then he'll beat me eventually. That's why when it's game 30, I use 10 minutes. Because one way you're gonna beat me is I get in time trouble. My flag could fall, like my first round opponent, his brother. I won on time. Or I could have a minute left and hang all my pieces. If I have 20 minutes, I won't do that. So I had to play fast in game 30. I was taught that by the legendary Vishy Anand. He played in a game 30 in 1989 in Brussels. He didn't use more than 10 minutes in any of his games. It didn't matter who he was playing. Okay, and I used 30 minutes every game, and I was in time trouble every game. Disaster. I was young then, so I could do it. So every move is equal, no matter what he does. And here he decides, roar, roar. Okay, now to bishop c5, he's already worse. Like now, he has the third move is I'm winning. So now you gotta like play really good. You gotta play perfect. And after that, the red light goes on and I win. Now I'm winning, okay? So it went from, he was doing fine, to like, I have to crush you. And then it's all horrible, right? Because if you could just crush me, then I would be like 2200. I would be okay and I would miss stuff. Which I could name all the players in Atlanta. The 2200 players, they play okay like me, then they miss stuff. So I beat them. If I'm missing stuff, I wouldn't be as high rated as I am. If you could just play queen e6 and beat me, I should quit chess. But the way I lose at chess is you just outplay me and I lose. That's why I lost to Kamsky. He outplayed me and then my game sucked. They took everything. I was in time trouble. You weren't here for the well, you were, but you forgot. The only game I've lost in Georgia was to Kamsky. And then the kids were like, who's that? You never got a Kamsky?
I know
No.
who Kamsky is.
But do you know who that is? Are you shocked he doesn't know who that is? I'm not shocked at anything. Nothing you can say shocks me. When Donald Trump says, oh, the mayor of Puerto Rico, San Juan, be quiet, you don't roar, I'm like, what? But I'm like, that doesn't shock me. Nothing can shock me. Nothing. Yeah. Man, if he was living in Puerto Rico, he might not say that. That's tough over there. Even before. I made a really good West Side Story joke, but nobody got it. Like earlier. Yeah, like really good. I was like, the Jets were playing the Sharks, and the Jets were like, hey, you can stay at my house, sorry. No? No? Yeah, no, nothing? Yeah, okay. Anyway, I could make a Natalie Wood joke, but that's in bad taste. Okay, so, and someday you'll have heard of her. Yeah. Okay, so in this position, he's fine. Everything's fine. Everybody's happy. Everybody's playing good. And then he gets to go crazy, which is what I did even when I was higher rated than I am now. But I realize now you got to like calm down. And when you go crazy and you're right, that's good. And when you're wrong, you went from equal to lost. And if it was right, I wouldn't let it happen. Then I would have played bishop c5. So this is funny. This is why in certain situations, theoretically, the best backgammon computers are better than the best humans, theoretically. However, the best backgammon engines assume best play. That's what the chess engines do. Like, oh, that's the best move, that's the best move. So now, I make a move the engine doesn't like, and I win quicker than the engine. Because this gives my opponent chances to go wrong, and the engine doesn't let those chances happen because it knows it won't go wrong. Like, my opponent's not going to go wrong, so it doesn't matter. Whereas in real life, people go wrong. And this is why, which I complain about, people who are rated 2,000 to 2,300, they're playing on the board next to me, they're playing a 1,400, I'm playing a 1,400. I win in 90 moves in boring fashion, and they win in 13 moves by taking all their pieces. And they're like, what's wrong with you to me? Like, that guy won immediately, he's 900 points higher. And I'm like, yeah, he won immediately, and then when I play him, I win, because that's the way he plays. He plays where his opponent can't punish his mistakes, because he's 1,400, and then I punish his mistakes. I don't make mistakes, so I win in 90 moves because my opponent doesn't know what's going on. And eventually I win. So this game, if my opponent had played in this position here and just played boring, assuming I would win, because I'm 1,000 points high rated, it would have been a long, tedious, boring. And if he can play 50, 60, 70 boring moves and play at a high level, he wouldn't be rated 1,700. But this is why a lot of Grandmaster games are drawn, because when there's tactics and winning moves, the guy doesn't allow it. Whereas in the 1800s, everybody allowed everything. So there's a lot of this in the 1800s. You!
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good answer. Yeah. Okay, so I won the game due to him going crazy in this position instead of just calm. But most of my opponents were crazy before this. You go crazy immediately, and then I take everything. Okay, now the puzzle, I always wonder which puzzle to give but I only have one puzzle left. So the puzzle for the first class was this one. It was mate in 2. You guys were here for the first class. And then the answer is that. Yay! That took like 20 minutes of my first class. Right, and then after here, it's mate. Yay! Okay. Then we had the second class puzzle, which I forgot. Oh, it was this one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this one, this is easier than the next two, so you guys are in trouble. This is mate in 3 for white. And the answer is here. Oh, snap. And now black is in Zugzwang. Because white wants to play this mate and this mate, which black is currently preventing, but it's black's move.
Ha.
And you have to have your queen on b8. You're preventing both mates. But you have to move your queen because you have to. There's no other legal moves. So whenever you move your queen, I play rook 8 or rook 8, whichever one you unprotected. And the reason other moves don't work like this, with the same idea, this mate and this mate, is I can play here. There's stalemate tricks. I'm still defending the 2 squares. You can't do that here. You can't play queen a7 because you didn't defend this square. Yeah. So rook a2 is mate in 3, and then it's just, you either play rook 8 or rook h2 depending on what you do. Okay, that was the easiest one after the, and then there was, which one did I do? Yeah, this is a mate in 3, which I showed the last class. You play bishop h3, that's what you were gonna play. And the idea is you wanna play this and mate. You agree that's mate. And if he runs away, you have queen d7 mate. That's why you're playing bishop h3, because your bishop was on d7. So you needed to get your bishop off of d7. But this is the only square you can go to where your queen can get in front of your bishop. And now the beautiful point, which I'm sure you already saw, is after a5, and this is the idea. Now this isn't mate because I wrote here. Yeah. Now you play queen a6 check. And after takes, you have mate.
Oh, wow.
Right. It's mate because the pawn is here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Right. So the only move is bishop h3. It's tough unless you're an engine. And just great swinging. Right. Okay. Those are the easy ones. Now the hard one. Okay. And that is this one here.
Difficult.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. I believe this is the toughest of the 4 puzzles. White mates in 4. First of all, a lot of white moves are stalemates. A lot of them.
Wow.
Like half of them.
I just saw 2.
You can't move your king or your rook, it's stalemate. You can't do it. If you move your pawn, black has to go here, then you can queen, but black's king is really getting out of here, right? It's nice when the king is all trapped in here, right? Yeah. And also if it was that would be a stupid problem. Like, oh, I go here and I queen would check. That's not a problem. If you move your knight, this guy's moving, right? So therefore,
Oh, I think I see it.
no, it's too hard.
I think I see it.
Wait, hold on.
Wait.
Hold on.
Wait.
Vegas, double that bet. The last time he did this, he said, "Oh, it's mate." Oh, you know, he was. This is mate in 4.
He might be right, so I want to think about
No,
it.
he's not right. What,
Okay.
you want to give a wrong answer too?
No, I
I'm
didn't
not
got
right.
the chance to think
No, he's
about it.
definitely not right. This is the hardest puzzle of all of them.
All right.
I know the answer, so I know he's not right.
Okay, so
Yeah. If I did this puzzle, I would solve it in about an hour if I didn't know the answer. So I know he's not right. I would solve it. It would take me about an hour.
it's
Because my move, he doesn't queen, he goes to a 9. And then he checks me, and it's not mate in 4 anymore.
I'm trying to figure out what your answer is. Oh, I know what your answer is. I know your answer. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. Your answer was some knight move, and then rook here, some king move, and then mate. That wasn't your answer?
No.
I mean, it obviously.
What was your answer that was wrong? I want to know.
It was 94.
Okay.
So, and then king e2,
right?
and then
Oh, I thought it was this.
no,
But your answer was like something else?
no, it was
Oh, your answer was like that.
yes,
Oh, and then he takes a knight check.
yes.
So you don't have mate and that's nice. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Very good. Because rook g1, rook g8 is the same, but he takes a knight. Yeah, that's good. That's actually a very important factor, that the taking the knight is check. That's why Nakamura thought this was an easy puzzle. He's always looking to make a knight.
So I was thinking knight to d5.
Uh-huh. This knight,
Yeah.
another knight stalemate. Actually, not that. I can move my king.
And then I was thinking the knight f4, but then you can say check.
Right?
So that doesn't.
Yeah, what's funny is like here, if you make a queen, then this is mate. But as Ocean pointed out, you make a
Yeah.
knight because it's check.
Yeah.
Yeah, wherever the king goes, it's check. If the king takes the pawn, it's stalemate.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let's go back.
Yeah. It's always stalemate.
I mean, you must have to move the f6 knight. That can't be it.
Man, move the f6 knight. That black king can get out.
Yeah, I'm just.
Yeah, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen ever. Yeah.
Oh, why don't? Well, no.
You guys have good ideas which will help you solve the puzzle. Like you understand making the knight with check. That's good. That helps. If you don't know that, you won't solve it.
Can I ask? Is the first move is it?
No hints.
Oh yeah, you're right. No hints. Forget it. Don't answer.
Oh, I give hints eventually. Eventually the class ends, I give hints. The answer is castles. Rawr. Ah.
Oh, well, can't you just move the king before?
No, we're still.
If you move the king now, it's still.
No. Like after you move the knight.
Okay, so move the knight
Yeah.
somewhere.
And then
Move the king here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still gonna make a knight with check. You just did another variation, which is the
Yep.
same.
Yeah, but didn't. Yeah. Never mind. Just kidding.
So the problem, it's a chess puzzle. So let me tell you why you're not solving it right. When you do this and your intention is to give some mate, right? That can't be right because like this is mate and this is mate and this is mate and this is mate. So like everything's mate. So that ain't right. It can't be like there's 400 solutions. That's why like if you have a lot of ways to mate, then that ain't it. Because then it's a terrible problem I wouldn't show you.
What if you do
The only way to stop C1 equals knight is if there's something on C1. The problem is, if there's something on C1, it's stalemate. Right? C2, something goes to C1, stalemate. Right? Doesn't matter what's on C1. It could be a knight, a king, a rook, doesn't matter. So if I go here and here, I'm going to go knight check. If you put something here, it's stalemate. So you have to make it where when I put something here and you put something on C1, it's not stalemate.
Because it's your turn.
No, because it's not stalemate. The pawn has to be able to do something else.
Oh!
Yeah, they still don't know, don't worry.
It's probably something.
I can give as many hints as they want, it don't matter.
Here, I got it. I think.
Wait, hold on.
No.
Vegas, large wager. Yeah,
Okay.
you got me. They know me now. Yeah,
I think I got it.
yeah,
I think if you do knight to b1,
uh-huh,
and then the pawn goes up.
okay. I agree with pawn going up.
Hold on.
No, it doesn't work.
I might have to cancel my wager.
Okay, never mind. Because I was thinking then you could put the rook and then checkmate from g8.
Yeah.
No, but he.
And then he would take the knight.
Keep talking out loud and getting the right answer. Keep doing it. You're doing good.
Because if you go, okay, so if you go king to
Yeah.
e2,
Uh-huh. Obviously here, right?
yeah,
All right.
but you can,
Oh!
Ow. I might bet on him now.
The truth hurts.
Yeah.
The truth hurts.
Yeah.
You play rook c1.
Play rook c1. He can't play c1 now.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Then he
That's
has
a
to
good one.
make something. It doesn't matter what, and then
Yeah.
mate.
That's a
Yeah,
good
and
one.
that's the only answer.
Yeah.
So you got to play knight b1 on move 1, and then king e2 and rook c1. That way, he can't play c1 knight, and he has some other move to make.
Yeah.
That's why it's to play knight b1.
That's
You have to play the right move order, because it's stalemate if you don't. You can't go here first. And you can't play rook c1 here, because you can't jump over your king.
Right.
So there's always only one move. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Wow.
That was harder than the other ones. Yeah.
That's
Because
tough.
there's only, then you mix a bishop, and then checkmate. But yeah, once you see c1 equals knight, that helps you solve it. Because you're like, I gotta stop c1 knight. You put a rook there, that stops it. It's usually stalemate, but if the knight's on b1, it's not stalemate. So it's hard.
Yeah.
And Greg Shahadi would like this puzzle. You don't know who Greg Shahadi is, but he's an IM who doesn't play chess anymore. He writes a lot of articles. One of his articles is knight b1 exclamation mark. Every answer, it's not puzzles either, it's real positions. And like white plays knight here and it's the best move. So he wrote an article about it because it's unusual. Usually it's to reposition the knight, either to c4 or to d2.
Right.
And you know the Breyer Ruy Lopez. In the Ruy Lopez, there's a very common line where the knight's here because it's there on move 2. And then white black goes here and then here. Well, here anyway. That's a very common line. So knight b1 is the same idea. But here knight b1 is totally different, so Greg would like it because that's the answer. Knight b1, it should go in his article.
Cool.
It's of the best moves. Right, Ocean? He went to 3 classes in a row. Who's the happiest? It's a trick question. No? It's not a trick question, the answer is correct. Who's the happiest? He went to 3 classes. You don't know. How do you not know? Wow, your mom.
I thought it was you because you got money.
No, it's your mom because she got rid of you for 3 hours. Not only that, it sounds like she got rid of you for 3 hours, but it was 4. Because there's a half an hour break between
Yes,
classes.
yes, I see.
Yeah. And she did the math too. She was like, 4 hours? Yeah, I'll give you anything.
We'll play a round of golf now.
Yeah, 4 hours. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a
yes,
cool
you
one.
remember.
Where do you find these puzzles?
You can find lots of puzzles online, and I know a lot of puzzles.
Okay.
But I mean, I could show you 1,000 puzzles from my head.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
That one I actually found online because I've shown so many of the puzzles that I know that everybody's seen them all because I've done like 300 lectures online, so everybody knows all my puzzles. But that one's not even one of my favorites. That's like okay.
What's your favorite one?
Yeah. My favorite puzzle, everybody knows my favorite puzzle, right?
No,
My favorite puzzle is this one. Let's
if
see.
you don't remember your favorite puzzle.
It's there's a lot of pieces on
Oh,
it.
then,
No, I mean, I know it, I just have to think about it. Okay, here, white's going that way. I think so. Knight, let's see, let's put these here. Am I doing it right? What do you think? Here. You guys know a lot of puzzles too, so that's good. I was teasing him. Let's see, here, is that right? That looks right. Yeah. This is my favorite puzzle.
Whose turn?
Okay, so white wants to go mate. See how that's mate? Right here? Mate. Okay, so you can do this. Oops. You can do this. You can do this. And you can do this. Okay, so it's mate in 4. Okay, so this is move 1, because that's the answer. Okay, how does black stop mate? Also, black's going this way. How does black stop this mate over here? What does he do? Not easy. If you play rook here, because your idea is to take the knight, then I take the rook and play queen here mate.
So is the puzzle, how does black stop it, or is it?
No, it's mate in 4, but I'm asking you how black stops this mate.
Oh, pawn? Oh, no, never mind, it's opposite direction. Well, you don't have that many legal moves.
Well, this is the easy part of the puzzle. We're getting to the hard part yet. Gotta stop mate. White has mate in 4. That's the first move.
Oh, is it C2?
C2, and then if he goes here to mate
yeah,
you,
yeah.
you promote to something,
Sure.
and then you can take it.
Right.
Okay. So since black wants to promote here, you stop him from promoting.
So you play Queen C1.
Queen C1, right. And now, if he takes or whatever, you got this,
Yeah.
okay. We're not even halfway done yet. Okay.
What?
Yeah, this is a mate in 4, and white's made 2 moves. Okay, now we'll see who's good at math. My vote is none of you.
There's 2 moves left.
How many legal moves does black have? I bet nobody gets the right answer. That's my bet.
Oh, well, I mean, if you count the different types of promotions as a move.
Yeah, I do.
That's another
10?
4,
10,
Yeah.
very good, yeah. One of those 10 moves stops this mate. The one that I keep showing you. Which one? Look, I suggest none of them do, but one of them does. This problem never gets stale.
I feel like it's like,
Never. It never gets stale, this problem. I can give as many hints as I want, it doesn't matter.
so what stops the mate? Okay, so what's
Did you hear the never get stale? You didn't know that works? I give them the answer.
there we go. So you can promote to something that makes it so you can't move with black anymore. So you would promote to B1.
And make it what?
Well, you would have to make
Make it a bishop.
Make it a bishop.
Yeah.
And then this is stalemate.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's a mate in 4 problem. Both sides have made 2 moves.
Okay.
Now it's a mate in 2 problem, because that would make it the mate in 4 problem. A lot of moves are stalemate, so careful.
You can't take it.
Queen takes C2.
Bishop takes C2.
And then knight D6.
Where?
Knight D5.
That would be move 4. Yeah. Mate in 4.
Ooh, it's good.
Okay, so move 1, C2, move 2, here, and now we need a third move.
So queen has to move
The
somewhere.
queen moves, I promote with check,
Mm,
and then you have to meet me on that move, which seems unlikely.
yeah.
Very unlikely.
Oh, knight can, well, the knight have to take something. I mean, I guess the knight could take.
Remember, it's mate in 4, we've made 2 moves. So if you move with the knight, and I make a move, you have to do mate in 1, because there's mate in 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's mate in 2. Due to the powers of math.
I've
Knight
been in
can
the bathroom for this long. I think it's just.
Oh, wait about knight to D3,
Knight to D3 is correct.
and then if
They
takes-
take, not if, they have to take.
Yeah.
Now mate in 1.
Queen H1.
Mate. Yeah.
It's a cool puzzle.
That's not easy unless you're an engine, then it's easy. Yeah. So let's turn the engine on, it says knight B4, mate in 4.
Yeah, well,
It's like whatever. Yeah.
Wait, why does it say knight C7?
Why doesn't it what?
Say knight C7. on
Knight
here.
C7 is illegal.
No, like at the last
At the
one.
end.
That's the one that it's giving. Well, because in this position, it knows if you make a bishop, that knight here's a mate, so it's just suggesting other moves. And then you do this. It just didn't play B1 bishop. If you did, then it would say knight D3 and queen H1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's saying knight C7 because it's looking at other moves. Like this. Yay, and then knight C7. Yeah, I like that puzzle, because you have to go here. The other ones don't work because you have to go there later. That's
Yeah,
why
each
that's why
move
the
is
other
stuff.
moves don't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other ones are mate in 5. Boo! Horrible. Yeah. Yeah, but B1 equals bishop, that's a good stalemating trick. Yeah. Who invents these problems? Who are these people?
I'm just lucky to find any mate. I don't really
Yeah.
care how many moves it
Yeah.
And I first saw this position in 1986. So like you remember it in 30 years, right? You'll show all your friends.
In front, you know, and
Yeah.
you can put them all down.
Yeah, and I can just show you like a lot of puzzles like that, but that's the one I like the most.
Very cool. I
Yeah.
like that one a lot.
Yeah.